No one dreamed that that little bit of a hurricane that they had in Florida would do what it did to Louisiana.
And when the buses started coming on that Tuesday, they just kept coming. They did not stop.
Those buses were on their way here, the Cajun Dome Marina in Lafayette, Louisiana. Floodwaters following Hurricane Katrina had forced thousands of weary, overwhelmed New Orleans residents from their homes. Many found themselves 120 miles west in Lafayette, a city of 115,000 people. The Cajun Dome, designed to seat 12,000 for an event, would soon become home to 18,500 storm victims, a massive influx equal to 16% of the city's population.
At the time our first evacuees started arriving, there were no supplies. We didn't have any cots or blankets or pillows.
Dr. Azar served on the Cajun Dome Commission. So I called him and I told him, I says, Doc, here's what we've got. We've got a serious medical crisis here at the Cajun Dome.
I was expecting the worst, but again, I did not think in my wildest dreams that this thing would go 58 days.
I knew that it was a bad hurricane, but it looked like it was going to go east of New Orleans.
Perfectly symmetrical storm. This is now the fourth strongest hurricane ever recorded in the Atlantic Basin.
Here you're seeing the eye of Hurricane Katrina bear down on Biloxi, Mississippi, and it continues to move to the north at about 15 miles per hour.
And so I didn't think that Louisiana was going to receive the brunt of the hurricane.
We were awaiting the turn of Katrina to the north, and all of us from the instep of Florida all the way to the Texas Panhandle were trying to determine when it was going to make that right-hand turn.
And as we were watching the storm and as it started turning more towards New Orleans, that it kind of, in the state, our planning got a lot more rapid and a lot more intense as to exactly what we would probably be dealing with.
I go in Rampart because they got like a little community church around there where we go and we play basketball. That's where I was before the storm, probably saying it ain't gonna come this way. Because, you know, that's what we used to in New Orleans. They say it's gonna come, but it always go another way, so.
And everybody has this look of panic on their faces, like, why are y'all still here? Those were people who lived through Hurricane Betsy. So those people knew that danger was imminent.
When it made that last swing and pushed over to the east of New Orleans, initially, we thought, great, we've missed it. We dodged the big bullet, because immediately after the hurricane went through, the streets were dry, there was no problems. It wasn't until about 8 hours later when the levees broke that we knew how bad this could potentially be.
The day after, it was like dry outside. There wasn't no water. And then next thing you know, the day after they got water. Water everywhere.
One of the levees was breached. In some areas, we hit reports of 11 feet of standing water, people being forced out onto the roofs of their homes.
Monday morning, the hurricane had passed. I am on the outside of the building we were operating out of, our emergency shelter, and I'm on my cell phone. I'm looking at my car and I'm talking to my wife. She said, "What's wrong?" I said, "Water's coming up the street." Where we were was the highest part of the post. It shouldn't be coming up. Water should be going down. I said, "My car's floating. I gotta go." In an hour and a half, we went from no water to 8 to 10 feet.
We was at home, and we normally ride the storms, the hurricanes, and thunderstorms out. The water didn't go down after several days. We just pretty much thought about, hey, we need to get out of here.
You couldn't hear a thing. There wasn't even a cricket, nor a light in the whole city of New Orleans. The only thing we would hear is if something moved, the water lapping.
We ended up creating a little raft with a piece of fence and a swimming pool. We put the babies in there, and our little personal items such as ID, phone. We swam to the bayou. Once we got to the bayou, we discovered they had helicopters taking people away. We didn't know where we were going. We just know that they brought us to, I believe it was the Causeway, where they had a line of buses.
This is not a test. This is the real deal.
And we're seeing gusts of about 100 miles an hour.
It's just so massive and it's so awe-inspiring.
We are facing a storm that most of us have feared.
If you have a boat, bring it here, help us. These are people who did not have the wherewithal to get out of town. They stayed in their houses because they had to, and then the water came up.